I'm doing right now. My shoulder broke, but we still getting to the money. We still count paper. This ain't a pump and dump, baby.
Bad guy out of all of this.
Who's the bad guy? I don't think there's a bad guy.
No, yes it is. Yeah, Vlad, let's talk about it.
I think Meech is the one that made a mistake.
No.
No? You think 50?
No.
Lil Meech?
No.
Who am I forgetting now?
Rick Ross knew perfectly damn well what he was doing and what that would lead to.
Rick Ross just pulled off one of the boldest moves on Big Meech, and now people are saying Meech confronted him over it. 50 Cent has been openly mocking the situation. But here's the irony. Everyone saw this unfolding except for Meech himself. Online, people are eating this up like it's the finale of a hit reality series. But seriously, what did Meech expect? Getting involved with someone who used to work in law enforcement. Let's take a closer look at how this all played out.
Rick Ross knew perfectly damn well what he was doing and what that would lead to.
Since Rick Ross publicly threw him under the bus, 50 Cent's been steadily posting indirect jabs at Big Meech and Little Meech across his social media. But the real shock came when Big Meech was released from prison a few months ago and was suddenly seen hanging out with Rick Ross like he owed him something. Despite knowing Ross had been at odds with 50 for years, Meech still chose to stand next to him, instead of staying neutral or showing respect to the one who had backed him all along. Big Meech was smiling in photos with Ross, giving the impression that Ross had supported him through everything. That had to sting for 50 even if he didn't expect Meech to treat Ross like a close ally. And while Little Meech goes around making subtle digs at 50 by talking about real power, Big Meech added to it by aligning himself with Floyd Mayweather. Sure, Meech's name helped 50 earn millions, but 50 also built something meaningful from it. Outside of using Meech's story for clout, what has Ross actually contributed? He played it smart, feeding off the tension and hype, boosting his own profile, fully aware the situation was going to explode. And by the time things got messy, Ross had already made his exit before anyone could hold him accountable. People believe Rick Ross kept Big Meech at a distance because of that shoulder injury. But that was just an excuse to avoid facing his audience. He switched up the narrative and ran the same group of supporters through another crypto scheme, using his boss image as bait. After he burned so many who trusted him with their money, folks online started calling him Ruggy Ross. Coincidentally, his shoulder injury happened just days after he misled Big Meech and got called out for it. So yeah, it's fair to say he hit the ground literally and figuratively. Quietly, Ross sold off nearly all those tokens, holding on to just a couple so he could funnel the money into real estate ventures. If Ross hadn't been blocking opportunities, Big Meech might have had a real shot at rebuilding his legacy. But instead, Meech continued making questionable choices. And now, people are joking about how fast that supposed bond with Ross fell apart. One of the most vocal critics is Michael Rainey JRB, who said outright he doesn't feel sorry for either Little Meech or Big Meech. In his view, both are grown men who should have seen this coming, and 50 Cent echoed that sentiment in his own corner of the internet.
Do I feel bad for Lil Meech? I don't feel bad for no grown man on this planet. Like, I'm a grown man. Why the fuck I gotta feel bad for another grown man? Like, you a grown man too, nigga. You asking for my sympathy for, nigga. You be alright. Oh, yeah, nigga.
Everyone already knows 50 Cent doesn't mess around when it comes to personal rivalries. Even DJ Vlad backed that up, saying 50 is the last person you want to challenge because he'll burn the whole thing down just to prove his point.
Burn it all down. If you piss him off. His own sometimes too. You know, he'll cancel BMF to prove a point. Regardless of how much money he makes.
Rick Ross has left people hanging before Big Meech isn't the first. He pulled a similar move on his own team, leaving them to deal with a confrontation in Canada, then came back claiming it was all just a test of their loyalty. That's a tough way to move, but honestly, Ross has operated like that from the beginning. He saw how things would unfold early on, especially after Wack 100 called him out as the actual instigator in the situation involving 50 Cent and Big Meech. Truth is, Ross was never really a genuine friend to Big Meech. He had a plan from day one. He hyped Meech up with promises of helping him rebuild financially, made it look like they were close, and subtly pushed him away from 50. But at the end of the day, it was just empty talk. Wack 100 wasn't exaggerating. If Ross genuinely wanted to support Meech's comeback, he would have kept things private and focused on results. Instead, he was busy taking public shots at 50 and stirring the pot, knowing he was never going to secure the rights to the BM series. Now Ross is quiet about Meech, and all that noise has faded. He's only interested in ventures that benefit him directly, and Meech no longer fits into that plan. Word going around is Ross might actually be the reason Meech's welcome home benefit got scrapped, even though most believe 50 was behind it. The truth is, Ross didn't want Meech making a strong return or gaining momentum from that event. He preferred to keep Meech in the background while portraying himself as the supportive figure in public. Just like when 50 posted something and later deleted it, Ross responded with, "I had nothing to do with this. Please stop calling my phone. I truly hope you have a good day. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm stronger than you think I am." Many people doubted Ross had that kind of strategy in him, but now it's starting to make sense. That entire BM theme track had Big Meech believing Ross was genuinely in his corner. I guess I'm Big Meech. But what if Ross's real intention was to become Big Meech all along? Consider this. Ross has a consistent pattern of leveraging other people's names, especially those with major street credibility, to boost his own image. That's not just speculation. His entire rap identity was inspired by the real Rick Ross, a known figure who was behind bars at the time. And when the original Ross was released, he publicly confronted him and even took legal action over the name.
About the rapper Rick Ross having the same name?
Well, the fact that he stole my name, not that we had the same name, he actually stole my whole story, my identity, the whole thing. You know, he built his career off of my legacy.
This all started back in 2005. By 2010, the real Rick Ross, the man who ran a major operation in the 198 OS, filed a lawsuit against the rapper for trademark infringement and identity theft. However, in 2013, a judge ruled in favor of the rapper who claimed he had made up the name himself. Ross then appeared supportive, aligning himself with various figures once they gained attention. It's a pattern just like what he did with Larry Hoover in 2021. Hoover, a well-known street figure, had his name frequently mentioned in Ross's music while still serving time. Ross used his name for attention and profit without making a real effort to support him. People criticized him for that, and with good reason. In reality, when someone can switch sides that easily, it's understandable why 50 Cent has repeatedly said he never respected Ross on a personal level.
Career that you have any respect for?
Oh, no, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I never wanted to work with.
It's safe to say 50 Cent is likely enjoying all this unfold, especially since he didn't have to get involved for things to fall apart. He's been focused on new ventures, quietly building his business, while Big Meech and Little Meech are reportedly struggling to maintain momentum, moving from one celebrity connection to the next. Meanwhile, Ross had been mocking 50, calling him broke and criticizing him for not securing a loan to launch his film company. But in a surprising turn, that very loan was approved just days ago, proving once again why 50 is not someone you want to underestimate. It's wild to think that just a few weeks ago, Rick Ross was out here bragging about buying 50 Cent's masters. Now, fans are convinced he's somewhere regretting that flex. In hindsight, that move sounds completely out of touch.
I'll buy your masters. You ready? I will buy your masters.
Even though it's probably too late for 50 to step in and help Big Meech or bring Little Meech back into the fold, it's clear that some lessons have been learned. Zip with the Drip, who had been saying from the beginning that 50 was being honest about Big Meech's situation, had plenty to add. He predicted things would eventually fall apart and that Ross would end up dropping Meech. And now, that's exactly where things stand. The situation has sparked a lot of conversation online. Most fans seem to believe that Meech is finished in the industry and that his one real shot at a comeback was wasted. But in reality, it might be quite the opposite. That's why when user pointed out, "Let me get this straight," a former corrections officer turning on someone who served time. Who didn't see that coming? In the end, it's a case of one untrustworthy person getting outplayed by another. There's a word for that karma, and this time it came served hot. What do you think about all this? Is Big Meech planning to respond to Rick Ross? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're enjoying this content, make sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the latest updates.